Hey folks, the Real World Prepper here, and I wanted to come to you this afternoon and mention something that a bunch of people have mentioned, but I want to talk about it from maybe a little bit different angle. Maybe not, I don't know. I hadn't watched every video out there, but a lot of people, a lot of content creators, even news outlets, those that you can trust and those that you cannot, are talking about and mentioning food shortages, the potential for food shortages, the possibilities for food shortages, and that kind of thing. Let's talk real quick about what the major problem is, by my estimation and by many experts. Not that I am an expert. I am in the agricultural industry, all right? Let's just say that. I'm not a farmer, but I work closely with farmers, growers, producers, equipment manufacturers. I know a lot about what's going on in this industry. And I'm talking about big farm operations, the ones that bring a lot of food to your table, to my table, and to tables around the world. And I realize that there are other countries, that we here in the United States get a lot of our product from as well. So, it's a give and take. It always has been. But, So on another social media platform, I had one of my followers drop an article, and this is just one of many I've found. This one's actually from Natural News. Take this guy for what you will. I know people are split on how they feel about Mike Adams and Natural News. A lot of people love him. A lot of people think he's a hack. Whatever. Beside the point. It's just good information in this article. And I'm going to read a little bit of it here in a second. The one of the major problems with food production for this year, which is going to ultimately impact us probably in a year from now, because we're working off of the stuff that was grown and stored last year. Okay, that's how this food production works. You're usually about a year out. So however a crop does in any given year, good or bad, you feel the effects of it the following year typically. Okay, so spring planting this year is going to have, and I know this firsthand, again, from the people I deal with, and that is that fertilizers, nitrogen, urea, this is also used in diesel exhaust fluid. This is what we're not going to get. This is what's going to be in short supply, which is thusly going to affect your crops. The quality of them, the quantity of them, the ability to frankly, to plant them and harvest and transport, the whole thing. And the reason is there's several reasons. The first and biggest thing is the number one producer of urea, and I mean by miles. Who do you think? China? Exactly. That should not be big news, okay? Russia and Ukraine also produce some of this stuff, but, and of course we know where they are right now, and what's going on there, but China, vastly the largest producer. So let me just touch on this real quick, this article, because it says it better than I can come up with the words. On the heels of rail carriers canceling grain shipments, CF Industries, which is the largest manufacturer of these products in the United States, CF Industries warns that fertilizer rail shipments are now being halted during spring planting. So it goes on to say they're halting shipments of grain and dairy herds, to dairy herds and other cow herds across America. And this guy, he warned that it was an engineered collapse of the food supply. I don't disagree. Where rail carriers were essentially being ordered to drop certain loads in order to maximize the coming wave of food scarcity and famine. Devastating news from CF Industries, one of the largest fertilizer producers in the world. It confirms that the engineered food collapse plan is being expanded to include fertilizer shipments. According to an April 14th announcement from CF Industries, Union Pacific Railroad is halting the delivery of fertilizer shipments right in the middle of peak planting season for farmers. CF Industries warns that, quote, railroad mandated shipping reductions will result in nitrogen fertilizer shipment delays during the spring application season. That is starting now. and that it will be unable to accept new rail sales involving Union Pacific for the foreseeable future, end quote. Even more alarmingly, CF Industries warns that, quote, it is one of only 30 companies to face these restrictions, end quote. So that means that Union Pacific is essentially dropping fertilizer shipments and grain shipments all across America. Seemingly a deliberate act to shut down food infrastructure. Because it's not about, we don't have enough food. It's about they don't have the products to make enough food. Thus, we won't have enough food. The implications, this article goes on to say, the implications are nothing short of catastrophic. It affects not just fertilizer, but it also affects DEF fluid, diesel exhaust fluid, which is necessary for all tractors, transportation trucks, construction equipment, and other machinery that uses diesel engines, as CF explains. Now, if you don't know, the diesel exhaust fluid systems that have been put on these ag machines and big trucks and everything, it's supposed to lessen or mitigate the pollution from diesel exhaust fumes and the rolling coal kind of thing, as it were. This was a government mandate by the EPA, I don't know, 6-8 years ago, thereabouts, that everything, every piece of, in the terms of the ag equipment anyway, I think it was everything over 80 horsepower, 80 and up, is required to have this system, okay? It is just a costly, I think, unnecessary system. A lot of the farmers I deal with totally agree. A lot of failures in these systems, a lot of upkeep, just a whole nother thing to have to keep up with because the government said so. Same reason why they made Ford get rid of the 7.3 Power Stroke and get into those less than diesel engines in their pickup trucks, a decade or more ago. So, let's see. So without the DEF fluid, you can't run tractors. And to the Green New Deal lunatics who think that halting all diesel engines will magically make the world green, while they absurdly try to suck out all the CO2 out of the atmosphere, which will kill all the plants, by the way, if they do that, you're about to experience starvation, chaos, and violence that comes from shutting down agriculture. Good luck to all of you. This is in the article. Those aren't my words. However, I might say, hey, I could go on. I'm not going to. Again, it's natural news, and the article is called Emergency Alert on the Heels of Rail Carriers Canceling Grain Shipments. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this article, it's already on my Telegram, if you're there. I'm going to put it on my Patreon too. Sorry about all the noise here. So you guys should check it out for yourselves, because this is really, this is something that we've talked about, again, in my industry, the people that I deal with. This has been a topic of conversation for the last 18 months or so. We've known it's coming, we've seen it coming, and now it is coming. And I don't know what the deal is with the railroad and all that. I've got a couple of friends that are in the railroad business that I haven't had a chance to talk to. But I bring this to you so just to say, if you haven't done enough in preparing, do it. It doesn't matter what it costs at this point. If you want to have food to feed your family, and right now, if you buy it now, even at inflated prices, you're still buying it cheaper than you will this time next year, if you can even find it. So hopefully some words of wisdom to you guys from again, not an expert, but from somebody who just cares about your well-being as well as mine and my family's. So, something to think about. Real World Prepper. See you soon.